guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I do apologize about the lighting. I ended up having to film this a lot later than I expected, so I lost all the sunlight that I was originally going to have for this video. But I just wanted to talk about a few things before we do get started. Number one, and the most important, I am not going to be able to respond to as many comments as frequently as I did in the past, just because of the sheer number that are coming in and how this channel is growing, which is super exciting. But yeah, that's one thing that I absolutely love doing, is actually interacting with the people that are my passengers and that do support this channel. But it's just kind of a lot, and between the Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter direct messages, I'm trying so hard to get back to everyone and respond as quickly as possible. And one thing that's been happening a few times, and just for further references for anyone who does want to reach out, don't just snap and say like, hey, and then that's it. No, like, just go ahead and ask your question so I can answer it as quickly as possible. In the beginning, when I first started this channel, I would probably respond to people's snaps like the same day. I would say no more than 24 hours, and now it's taking me like a week to get back to some people's messages. So that just kind of gives you guys an idea of the sheer amount of questions that are coming in. So if you do want to ask something, feel free to. I absolutely do not mind, but just go ahead and say it. Don't say like, hey, or like, how are you doing, or like, you know, like general messages like that. It's just easier for me to just go ahead and directly respond. I cannot find my planner. I told you guys I lost my lunchbox on my last trip, on my trip before last, and my planner with everything in there, like literally, I know it sounds so crazy, but I honestly did not realize just how much was in there and how much I needed that planner until I don't have it right now. So I put it in a lost and found report, so hopefully it gets turned in, but I'm not thinking that it will, just because it's a lunchbox and there was a bunch of food in there, so more likely than not I feel like they would throw it away, but we'll see. So I'm just kind of like having to revamp for the new year and go ahead and like start writing everything down. I haven't gotten a new planner yet, but I do plan on getting one. Alright, now that all that is out the way, what this video is about: studying and training. This is a question that I find that I get asked so much, especially now that people are about to go to training, and I personally struggle with giving advice on this just because I feel like, I know you guys take my opinion heavy and it weighs heavy in your book because you're getting a perspective from an actual flight attendant, but I honestly don't know that this advice is going to be the best, because the way I study is not really conventional, and what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the others. Now, I went to school with people that were like visual learners that could literally look at a page, picture it in their mind, and then just spit stuff off. I don't learn that way. I learn like by repetition, and training was, I know I say this and people are like, I don't get it, because it's not hard for some people at all, but training was difficult for me, so I studied quite a bit. I studied a lot and I slept a lot, and me and Sam only studied together, and that was my roommate in training, and more times than not I actually prefer to study alone. So I know a lot of people like study groups and they like to work together, and I would go, like sometimes our class would have little sessions late at night, and we would go through the door drills together, or go through like something that was interactive, and that's nice to go through it with someone if it's something that involves you needing another person to say something or kind of keep the flow going. I'm so sorry. But as far as just a lot of the information and material, and when we started learning all the 757 configurations, because my company has so many, I just found it easier for me to study on my own. So one app that really I feel like I sound like Kermit the Frog now. One app that we all used in training, literally every single person in my class used this, was Quizlet. And you will find out like the details of this once you get to training, just kind of by word of mouth, some kind of way. Every class, people just find out about this. I don't know if the instructors tell or who, but Quizlet will be your best friend in training. So this is actually how I started learning the city codes, and they are broken up into sections. Now, one thing about city codes, I do get asked this quite frequently: how did I learn the city codes? What did I do? I made all these flashcards. I literally, because we got sent a little pamphlet in the mail with information in it, and all the codes that were in there, I went ahead and did flashcards for them. I don't know, I really truly in my heart of hearts don't feel like it was that helpful. Writing them down and coloring them, and some of them stood out. Like, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. Miami, MIA, that one kind of makes sense. LAX for Los Angeles, NYC for New York, but then you have EZE for Buenos Aires, and it's kind of just like, you know, you can't come up with some little like saying or some phrase. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and go through city codes, but what I did was make flashcards, but honestly, I just kind of memorized them and crammed it all in for the test, because the city codes were not as important as I thought that they would be in the grand scheme of things. So I wouldn't focus too much on those. However, every test is important, but I'm saying don't feel like if you don't know 200 city codes in a week that's going to be, you know, do or die, because it won't necessarily be that way. But yeah, I memorized a lot of my city codes. Honestly, I forgot most of them. Like the last trip that I had when I was based in Minnie and I went to JAC, I was thinking, okay, Jackson, Mississippi, whatever, not that big of a deal. I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and it was phenomenal. Like, so I looked at my rotation not thinking anything of it, because it does list city codes on there. But yeah, don't focus too much on that. However, they are important. There are Quizlet apps for that one as well, and I did use that. Sometimes in between class, I would be on Quizlet studying the city codes. But the main thing and the bulk of the information as far as new material will be you learning specific things about aircraft, where things are located on the aircraft, what to do in certain situations, how to go about customer service aspects of the job, how to interact with passengers, what happens, worst case scenario, what happens when things go wrong. Like, there's all this information that you will learn, and a lot of aircraft specific stuff and details that you need to know about your planes, because obviously that's your office. Like, if I, you know, need to know where a halon extinguisher is to get a fire out, it's very important to know where it is on what aircraft. And however, like, as much as this technical part is so important, another video that I will do is how things that you can't really learn about that. So just off the top of my head, as much as I went through door drills and as much as I learned, you know, where the medical equipment is on the aircraft, what mattered more was, where are the creamers? Like, how do I set this cart up? Where are the toppers for the cart? Like, things like that you can't learn in training. You only will learn once you get out on the line. But yeah, Quizlet will be your best friend. If you're a person who likes to study with someone, I do suggest heavy on the communication as far as who that person is, because there were situations just from other classmates, because a lot of our classmates, for whatever reason, would come like talk to us about what was going on with everybody else, and some of like the study groups, people would get into it, or, you know, they would feel like, okay, we need to focus on that, not this. But everybody studies at different paces and everyone needs different things. So I would suggest, like, heavily suggest spending some time on your own, just reading over the material. Typing the material out for certain things helped me. Just that repetition of not only just going back through it, it might be something that I know, but typing it and actually writing it down. I rewrote a lot of my notes, and I really do think that that was my saving grace, was rewriting my notes. So I would sit in class and I would have my pen notebook, and I still have it somewhere, of like all my notes from training. And so the highlights, the main things that they were going over, things that I felt like were being focused on, I would literally go and just write it out. And I would kind of shorthand it, and then when I would rewrite my notes, I would pull up the PowerPoints or whatever, and then just kind of write the sentence out. So let's say we're talking about an aircraft and he says, okay, the exit rows are 16, 17, 18, da 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 da. I would just kind of write exit rows, whatever the aircraft might be. Then whenever I'm going over the PowerPoint, I would specifically go back in and write out the entire sentence and take more time out just when I was on my own to study and focus on the material. It's kind of hard to explain studying for flight attendant training just because the information is so different. Like, I went into it with a college mindset, so that helped, just from cramming for class and when I was in school for business, so that helped me quite a bit. But it's just like, it's not like anything you ever really study for. Like, it's, you know, it's not scientific facts, it's just like situational things and a lot of specific things on different aircrafts. And I really envy the people that work at like Southwest. I think they only have one type of aircraft, so I can imagine that they're training, like, just learning one aircraft would be the best thing ever. People that only have a few aircrafts in their fleet, I'm just so jealous of that, because that was the hardest part, was learning the specific aircrafts, because there are so many. But yeah, anyways, with studying and with you know, going through flight attendant training, just remember to use your resources. And I think that's one thing people don't do often. We had study sessions that were available with our instructors after we left class. So if there was something you were struggling with, if there was a midterm, you know, a big test coming up, you could stay after class and they would re-go over PowerPoints, pull up the information. There were handouts, there were spreadsheets, there were like little computer things that you could do on your own. You could use your classmates. Like, more than anything, obviously I would say your instructors are your biggest resource. That's why they're there. Don't feel like you're annoying them. Don't feel like, you know, you're driving them crazy. You need to know that information and you want to pass your test, because ultimately it is a crew mentality and your class as a whole, everyone wants to finish, but you're still in an interview process technically, so it's still competitive. So if I study my butt off and I make 100 and I studied with you and you made a 70, you know, there's really, it's just, I can't really feel bad for that person or whatever, because it's up to you to still get it on your own. So you can't just study in a group and just think, oh yeah, okay, you know, we're studying. You need to actually make sure that you're grasping the material and understanding what's going on. So do use your resources. Do ask questions. Do feel free to go to whoever you need to go to and talk to them and make sure you're getting that information. So Quizlet, rewriting your notes, PowerPoints. I brought my computer with me. It's not necessary to, but I do strongly suggest it if you do like to study on the computer, to bring your laptop or bring an iPad with you, just to use that to redo notes. Also highlighters, pens, pencils, whiteout. Bring all of that with you to training. It will be important. I brought scissors, like stickers, because I like colorful things. Like, I kind of identify certain, like I would have certain aircrafts that went with a certain color. So as soon as I saw purple, I knew that that was a 737. As soon as I saw green, I knew that that was the 777. Like, just certain aircrafts, it helped me categorize it. I always have post-it notes. They're actually sitting on my desk over there. I just keep them next to me because sometimes in the middle of the night I'll wake up and write something down, and I keep them by my bed. But I always, even right here, just like little notepads and stuff like that. Take notes. Take notes. Your notes will be your best friend. And ultimately, it's up to you. Like, if you want this, then you'll study hard and you'll get it. The information is given to you. All the resources you will have during training to pass. And for some people, as much as people like drill into them, study with them, there's still things that they're not grasping. And in that situation, I saw some people fall apart. And there was a day where I was just like, I can't, like, I cannot, nothing is sticking today. And I had a day where I just like wallowed in self-pity, but I got over it. Like, you can't do that. And if a certain way that you're studying isn't working for you, just find another method. You can Google studying tips and things that help. And also in training, I did try to wake up and eat a good breakfast and have a cup of coffee, or I drank tea a lot. I would drink a cup when I woke up, a cup when I went to bed, and that just kind of helped me with my anxiety about taking the test and just got me mentally prepared for that. And do take time out to not study. I know that that sounds crazy because some people are like, no, you know, you just need to cram as much. It's so nice to just take a day off and just not do anything. There were days I didn't watch, I don't think we turned our TV on one single time the entire time we were in training in our hotel. I don't think we turned it on, but I would have time where I would just not study anything, and I would just go in the lobby, sit on my phone, text my friends, text whoever, call my parents, call my aunt, whatever I needed to do to just step away from the phone. One time I just went and sat outside and watched the planes leave. I went for a walk. Like, do take time out to reset and get away from it, because it can be quite overwhelming and it can be a lot of information. But I do want to wish everyone the absolute best. Congratulations for everyone who is going to training. I've mentioned this on my vlog channel, I believe on here, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually off this entire month, so I will not be in training or seeing the people that are coming in for the training classes or interviews or anything else. I decided to kind of step away from it and avoid the craziness and the madness during January flying. So I do wish everyone the best of luck. Feel free to follow me on any of my social media and reach out, like I said. And just remember, for the snaps especially, just go ahead and ask your question. Don't like beat around the bush around it. And I'll always answer if I can. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on this channel. We are growing still, very exciting. I'm so happy to have each and every one of you guys with me, and I'm trying so hard to learn this Final Cut Pro, but it is giving me the blues. However, if you do want to check out any of my personal vlogs, I did daily vlog in November. Oh no, December. I did Vlogmas, so there was a lot of like flight attendant stuff like entwined in that as well. So if you do want to check out, I do have a second channel called ItsAshley, and yeah, that's all the promo I got. My choker and my jacket are from Forever 21. This t-shirt is from Ralph Lauren. I got it at an outlet mall like 3 years ago, so I don't know if they'll still have it, but these I got recently. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Wait, I'm so mad. I should have had the camera this way and filmed with this light. Vlogger prompts.